Hey everybody, Satoli here with History in Your Own Backyard. Today I'm in southeastern Indiana in Ohio County, and I'm headed towards a small ghost town called Hartford. Hartford is a level 4 ghost town, and I'll explain that in a minute what exactly that means. But sit back and enjoy the view, and I'll tell you all about the history of this little ghost town in southeastern Indiana. Before we get started, let's talk about the 4 different levels of a ghost town. If you've already seen my introduction to ghost towns, skip ahead to about the 4.5 minute timestamp. Hi everybody, Satoli here with History in Your Own Backyard. Over the years, I've been approached by dozens of people to produce videos on small, very small towns throughout the Midwest. These are towns that were once pretty vibrant communities. They provided employment, religious outlets, and sometimes even shopping for the local community. But now, for whatever reason, they have shifted population-wise due to lack of employment, natural disasters, or disease. And we're going to cover some of these in upcoming videos. I tend to call these ghost towns. There's nothing spooky about these towns. They're just small towns. They're only a shell of what they were in the past. So stay tuned and we'll go over the 4 different levels of a ghost town. A level 4 ghost town has homes and commercial buildings standing, but the businesses have all closed. The ghost town of Wiseburg, Indiana is a good example of this, with the general store and the blacksmith shop still standing, but no longer in business. See the video link in the description below. A level 3 ghost town still has homes, but the businesses have all closed and have been demolished. Bonnell, Indiana is a good example of this, now featuring only 2 homes. This can be seen in my video titled The Ghost Town of Bonnell. See the video link in the description below. A level 2 ghost town is no longer occupied and only features the remains of the homes and businesses that were bustling with activity years ago. Good examples of this type of ghost town are Mount Lawn, Indiana, and Columbia Park, Ohio. See the video links in the description below. A level 1 ghost town is completely gone. No foundations and no evidence of any human habitation. An example of this would be my video on the LaGrange Phalanx in Brushy Prairie, Indiana. See the video link in the description below. Like I said, there's nothing spooky about these towns. They're just a shell of their former self, and they're hanging on by a thread. So stay tuned for the series, and we'll see if maybe we even cover your town. The town of Hartford, Indiana is a level 4 ghost town, which is defined as a town which still has homes and commercial buildings standing, but the businesses have all closed. The town of Hartford, Indiana was laid out in 1817 when this area, now known as Ohio County, was actually a part of Dearborn County. Legend has it that there had been a long-running dispute between the residents of Rising Sun and the residents of Lawrenceburg. Supposedly, the Rising Sun residents thought the residents of Lawrenceburg were too liberal with their alcoholic beverages and wanted their own separate county for the good people of Rising Sun. In 1844, the split was made, and everything south of Laughery Creek became known as Ohio County, named after the Ohio River. Now back to Hartford. In the early years, Hartford was a very vibrant community that was home to school teachers, auctioneers, a dressmaker, a physician surgeon, an attorney, a shoemaker, mills, farmers, 2 blacksmith shops, a wagon shop, 2 stores, a church, a school, 2 lodges, and more. Over the years, the town of Hartford had a total of 4 flour and sawmills running along the banks of Laughery Creek. However, it appears that the last mill was wiped out in the 1937 flood. When they were in business, it has been said that at times between 1 and 2 dozen flatboats would line the banks of Laughery Creek carrying corn, flour, lumber, whiskey, and stone. The town had 2 general stores as far back as 1860 when it had a population of 114 people. The one store is still somewhat standing at the northeast corner of Hartford Pike and Hartford Ridge. At this point, it's beyond repair and only a matter of time before the whole thing is lost. There was a newer general store over on the northwest corner of Hartford Pike and Hartford Ridge, but that is also closed now. A post office was established in 1844 and is reported to have closed in 1891, but I think it may have been operating well into the 1900s. The building was demolished sometime between 2003 and 2005. When first established, the Methodists built a brick church in 1838. However, for some reason, the brick structure was replaced with the current wood frame church in 1899 and then went through a series of closures and reopenings beginning in 1945. I think it has been closed since the late 1990s, and if I remember correctly, I believe I saw rare curved pews inside the church many years ago. Unfortunately, nature is taking over this building. I received word that people have offered to purchase the old church with the intent to restore it, but unfortunately, the current owner has turned down all offers. In 1831, a stone schoolhouse was built near the southwest corner of Hartford Ridge and Hartford Pike, of which portions of the walls are still standing. That school was later replaced by another schoolhouse about 200 yards east of Hartford Ridge and on the south side of Hartford Pike. I know there's some type of structure on that hillside, but once again, the vegetation has begun to take over to a point that you really can't see anything from the roadway, so I don't know if this is the old schoolhouse or not. In the mid-1800s, Hartford had a hotel which featured running water, a true luxury at the time, which attracted travelers from miles around. Two lodges were built in town, a free and accepted Masons Lodge and an independent Order of Oddfellows Lodge, which is still standing today. I have no idea where the other lodge stood, though. A concrete phantom bridge sits on the west side of Hartford and on the south side of Hartford Pike. The bridge was probably built in the 1930s and bypassed in the mid-1960s when Hartford Pike was realigned. One of the more infamous legends about Hartford is the dry ford across Laughery Creek. Since the beginning of time, the only way to reach Hartford from the north was by crossing Laughery Creek when the water level was low enough. This was the only way in from the north up until the mid-1990s when a bridge was built a half-mile downstream connecting Nelson Road and Cole Lane. The dry ford was a concrete pad that was relatively safe to cross when the water was low. Unfortunately, some people tried crossing during high water levels and had to be plucked out of the water by water rescue or, in a few cases, didn't survive. Today, Hartford, Indiana is only a shell of its former self. Less than a dozen houses make up the town of Hartford with a population of only about 20 to 25 people. Will anything be left in Hartford 100 years from now? Only time will tell.